And of course, I've got a special guest. I have an inventor that's inventing in the pet industry. Is that right, Chuck? The pet industry?
That's exactly right. Pets, cats, dogs, fish, ferrets, whatever you got, I invent for them.
Now, you've been doing it for a few years now because you've licensed quite a few.
I have. I started off a little bit slow. It took me a while to get my feet wet and to learn some of the companies, but yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I've been here for 6, 7 years now.
Okay. And we've got a video we're going to find where you're at we met at the no, it's called Super Zoo.
Super Zoo.
Yeah, and
A couple years
you
ago.
were
Yeah.
yeah you were there with your licensing. You guys did a great video. So we're going to do something special today because we never have actually taken a product that was licensed and put it through a test. I mean, we haven't done that, so this is going to be our first. And Chuck had reached out to me. My daughter has this cute little dog called Bear, and he's a Welsh Terrier, and I just love this little guy. And Chuck and I were talking, we should do a video and test some of your pet products and see if Bear likes them or not. So we're going to talk a little bit about them, and then we'll go through them, and then we'll see what Bear thinks. Because at the end of the day, it's not what we think or your potential licensee or licensee thinks, but it's what the customer thinks about it. That's what
Yep.
really matters, right? Okay. So first of all, before we jump in and get to some of the pet toys, why pet toys?
I come from a high-tech background. I'm here in Silicon Valley, and about 10 years ago, I got kind of burnt out. I said, I'm not really excited about this stuff anymore, and it's fast-paced. You have to always be thinking. So I thought, well, I had seen you speak before at our local inventors club with Andrew,
Okay.
and loved the concept. So I decided, what the heck, I'll give it a shot. And I thought, what really interests me? What is fun? And fun was a big factor for me.
Okay.
So I thought, dogs, cats, why not? I know a little bit about them, so jump right in.
That's great too. Because like I said, you've licensed quite a few, haven't you? I mean,
I have. More so recently. I think for me, at least, it took a little bit of while to get traction.
okay.
One or two here or there in the beginning, and now probably a couple a year.
Okay. Why do you think that is, Chuck?
For me, and maybe for the industry, I don't know because I'm only a single data point. For me, it's been getting to know people, getting to know the ins and outs of what's needed in the industry. I think my biggest issue was not understanding that cost is a big factor, durability is a big factor in the pet industry. What's important for a particular industry?
Okay, so you have to know the ins and outs, build relationships, look at their product line. We're
Yes.
talking, yeah, we're talking more and more about that because typically inventors like to jump around,
Mhm.
and I think you have to just learn what the industry is all about.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
let's talk about some of your pet products that you license. This particular one right here. Now, what does it do?
I actually have a patent on that, believe it or not. It's a stretchable elastomer band in the middle, joined with a crackly paper. You'd think, oh boy, that's really simple, but no one had thought of that before. No one had patented it. So you pull it, and it makes this crackling noise, and then it self-resets when you let it go. Dogs love it. Yeah, the issue with it, though, is it's hard to tell what it does on the shelf.
Oh, okay.
You look at it and it's like, well, okay, I see a dog and it's really cool. Yes, exactly. So that does help a lot.
Okay.
Packaging does help a lot when you have something that's not obvious.
Okay.
But I think that's been one of the challenges for that. Not that it's selling badly, but it's a challenge.
Okay. Well, we're going to let Bear see what he thinks about this in just a minute, okay?
I
But,
can't wait.
Bear, what do you think? Come here. Come, give me that. Give me that. Give me that. I think we have another winner. Yeah, let's go to the next one because this is a really interesting one here, and it's kind of, I have to say, Bear has loved this so much. It's kind of torn up a little bit because this is like one of his favorites.
Yeah.
And I was telling Chuck what was so funny about this. You sent these products to me, and I hid some of them in my office. And sure enough, Bear found them, and he would come up to my office and steal them from my office, and he loved it so much. But this one's really different. What is it? What does it do? You shake it, and what happens?
You shake it and it looks really silly, but it also makes this giggling noise if you orient it properly and shake it the right way.
Figured it out.
It's a really silly toy, and the company that manufactures it, Ethical Products, did wonders by me because I had presented something to them that was a little bit more sophisticated than that, and they had challenges in making it.
Okay.
But they backed off and put that out, which really doesn't have much, if any, intellectual property around it. But they're still paying me royalties, and they're doing a bang up job with it. They're doing a fantastic job.
Well, he loves it so much because he can shake it, and he knows how to get the sound out of it. He's a very smart dog. And
That's very smart.
It seems like the crinkling or the sound or those really, he really reacts to that. The other dogs do. They must do too because it really works.
It does. It works also with cats, but you have to be careful with cats because it's a different noise that you have to get to.
Okay, we got one more. It looks really fun. Let's see what Bear thinks. Bear, come. Oh, here. I think Bear loves this toy. So this is a winner. Okay, all right. I want to talk about this because this is very different now.
It is. It very much is. That is a chew toy. There's no noise involved.
Okay.
There are currently two characters, that one and a gorilla.
Yes.
I worked with another inventor on that one.
Okay.
She came up with a concept of having a treaded chew toy that was flat.
Oh.
And it evolved from that into a three-dimensional model, and we engaged two different 3D modelers to help us put those together prior to even licensing them.
Okay.
So that one was one where I invested a little bit of money up front.
Okay.
And was successful at licensing it. They like it so much that they're making smaller versions for smaller dogs and even maybe more characters.
It smells good. Why is that?
That's an awesome question. It's got baking soda in it, so it helps presumably clean the teeth. But also, this is very interesting for licensees. There's the gorilla. He's also a treat holder. He's got a hole in his bottom, and you can stick treats inside or peanut butter and all that sort of stuff. Yes, exactly. So this is actually an interesting thing for licensees to consider. That is co-branded with Arm & Hammer.
Okay.
So the licensee, who is not Arm & Hammer, is Fetch for Pets. But they have a license with Arm & Hammer that says whatever products they put out for chew toys, they can put the Arm & Hammer brand on. So they're paying both me and Arm & Hammer.
It's a split.
So it might be,
Okay.
it's a split royalty, exactly. And we were able to negotiate a pretty good royalty rate, even in spite of them paying Arm & Hammer as well.
Yeah, I like the branding. There's something about it that says quality. And
Exactly.
and the product feels like it's quality product too.
Exactly. One nice thing about it, it's not as durable perhaps as other toys, but it's made of natural rubber, which some people think is a safer product.
Oh, that's very good. Now, this is another chew toy that's good for the dog's teeth. Let's see if little Bear likes this one. All right, come here. I think he loves this one, Chuck. This is a winner! Okay, go ahead.
I don't know anything about that. So. Anybody who can.
Okay, the true test. If Bear likes a toy, he brings it back until his in his little den, I guess. And so guess what? Chuck, look at them. They're all in here. They all passed the test. Good job, check. This one was interesting. This was another. It's a same type of product, right? It smells. It's
Yeah, same company.
oh, okay.
This is another challenge. Another challenge in terms of packaging it, because you look at it and you say, "What the heck is
It's
this?"
a tug of war. It's a tug of war.
It's a tug of war, but also if you put it on the floor, it rolls in one direction.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
It's really cool. It's a mathematical shape that is one of the few things that rolls like a ball or a cylinder.
Okay.
So yeah.
And I've got one more I want to show. In fact, there's a couple more here. What does this one do? What is this?
That's one. That one had a long and storied past. What it is if you pull on it, it makes a soft ripping sound. You can barely hear it because it's for a cat.
Oh, I hear it.
Originally, it was intended for a dog, whereby you have, and you can have a patent on that one too. We have what's that stuff called? Velcro that's held together with elastic on each side. So when they pull it, it makes it sound and feel like it's ripping.
Yeah, it does feel like it's ripping.
Right. It's very slight on that toy because it's for a cat.
Okay.
I originally presented it as a dog toy because it makes it. They could use a lot more Velcro and make a very strong sound.
Okay.
Exactly. And it's co-branded again with Jackson Galaxy, and this one's by PetMate. So if that one went through, I actually sold it to one different licensee who tried to put it out as a dog toy, but they didn't do a fantastic job with it. So when it didn't go through their expectations or get that far, I was able to take it back and relicense it elsewhere.
All right. Okay. Now, I didn't open this up, and I don't know what this is, but explain this to me, because this was like everything else I kind of got, okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this here,
Oh my goodness. That's basically just for people who make things. You know, makers that maker what's it called? Movement. Where
Yeah.
they'll make things. There's this thing called a bristle bot, where you take a toothbrush, you cut the head off, and put a little motor on the back, and it hops around the floor.
Okay.
I just thought, hey, that's pretty cool. Cats would love it. So I presented that as a concept, and they picked it up. So it's a battery-operated, motorized device that hops across the floor that cats chase after.
Okay.
It's doing pretty good.
Good. So, Chuck, let's wrap this up.
Sure.
This is really amazing. It's one thing if you come up with a product idea that you can test on yourself, or maybe a neighbor or a friend or a spouse, but these you have to really. Do you test them with your dogs? Because I saw some dogs running around here. Is that your audience, or is it a neighbor's dog? What do you do?
Oh God, we have a full house here: 3 dogs, 2 cats. And the nice thing about having a captive audience is you can try a whole bunch of stuff on them, see what they like, and I even use them in marketing videos.
Really?
Yes, I'll have them pull on one of those toys, a prototype, and it'll do its action, and then I'll film it and then send it off.
How important are trade shows?
For me, they're critical.
All right.
I get a lot more action from a trade show than I do over the phone. I don't know if it's because it's the face-to-face interaction or it's because you keep coming and you show that you're someone who's a player.
Okay. All right. I saw you at a trade show, but it wasn't a pet trade show recently. It was a hardware show in Las Vegas. Why is that?
I'm just thinking of branching out. I'm having a lot of fun in the pet industry, but there are downtimes. It's a cyclical. I shouldn't say cyclical, but there's only 2 trade shows a year,
Okay.
and I just want to hit more trade shows.
Good for you. Chuck, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Bear did.
Yeah, we're going to cut those in. Tell us if there's one bit of advice maybe would help the next guy that wants to be an inventor. What's one piece of advice you'd give them?
Oh, that's so hard. Because there are a couple things that are important, but the most important thing is persistence, I would say. There's a lot of rejection, as in anything like this. So just stick with it. Stick with it as long as you can stick with it. If you're going to mortgage your house or something crazy, don't do that. But stick with it as long as all it's taking a beating is your personality and your feelings.
I tell everybody, this is a game of rejection.
Yes.
And one last question. Since it is a game of rejection, how do you protect your creativity? Because you do get beat up a little bit, don't you?
you do. You get beat up a lot sometimes. Sometimes you have this fantastic idea that you think is fantastic, but nobody else does. I protect it because I have 100 ideas a day, and if one doesn't sell, I just go to the next one.
All right.
So.
All right. Chuck, thank you very much. Everybody's going to really love this. I enjoyed the toys. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Subscribe down below. And if you got some pet ideas, get involved in the pet industry. Chuck loves it. You will too. Bye, everybody.
Get the shows.